Before we begin, I want you to breathe in one truth, not a theory, not a maybe, but a truth that could shift your entire life. You owe it to you, not to your boss, not to your parents, not to the critics, the doubters, or even the people you love the most. You owe it to the little voice inside of you that keeps whispering, there's more. That voice has been trying to break through the noise for years, but you've been too busy surviving to hear it clearly. This isn't just another speech. This is a mirror. And before we go any further, I'm asking you to make a choice. Not for me, not for applause, but for you. Will you stay in your comfort zone and keep repeating 2024? Or will you show up like your future depends on it? Because it does. Today, I'm not here to motivate you. I'm here to remind you of who you are, of what you survived, and of the power you've always had but maybe forgot to claim. Lean in. Listen with your heart wide open, because if you let it, this moment can be the one you point back to and say, that's when everything changed. You've got to stop living like your story is something that just happened to you. Your story isn't a sentence. It's a setup. And right now, too many people are living like renters in their own lives. They're waiting for someone else to fix the foundation, someone else to give them a key, someone else to come in and tell them it's finally okay to move forward. But let me tell you something. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is coming with permission. You have to own it. Not part of it. Not the polished parts, all of it. The pain, the screw-ups, the things you're ashamed of, the moments you thought would break you. You've got to grab those moments and say, that's mine. Because the second you take ownership of your story, you take back your power. And I know, it's tempting to blame the past. It's tempting to say if they hadn't left, or if I hadn't lost that job, or if I hadn't grown up like that. But here's the truth. What happened to you wasn't your fault. But healing from it, creating something beyond it, that's your responsibility. That's your power play. When you keep replaying the same old story, hoping it turns out different this time, that's not growth. That's survival. And you weren't born to survive. You were born to rise. And you can't rise until you stop pointing fingers outward and start reaching inward. That story you're afraid to tell, that version of you that you've been hiding, that's the part someone out there needs. That's the part that's going to unlock your next level. Because when you own your story, when you stop editing your life to fit someone else's comfort, something powerful happens. You stop apologizing for existing. You stop shrinking to fit rooms you've outgrown. And you start walking into life like you belong in it because you do. Let me be real with you. You will never feel fully free until you stop renting space in your mind to things and people who never deserved it. And maybe you've been through things that knocked the wind out of you. Betrayal, failure, regret. But that's not where your story ends. That's where your next chapter begins, but only if you pick up the pen and write it. And don't wait until you feel ready. Don't wait until you're perfect. You start now. You start messy. You start with a whisper in your gut that says, this life, this year, it's mine. Because if you're still here after everything, then you've got more to live, more to give, and you owe it to you to own it all. That's where real freedom begins. Let's get one thing straight. You can't move forward if you're dragging the weight of everything you should have dropped years ago. I see people every day trying to climb higher, build more, reach for the life they say they want, but they're doing it with both hands full of baggage, emotional baggage, mental baggage, pain, guilt, fear, old stories, toxic people, all of it. And they wonder why they're stuck, why they feel exhausted, why the breakthrough never comes. Let me tell you what most people don't want to hear. Letting go is a choice. It's not something that happens when the timing is perfect or when it hurts less or when the apology comes. It's a decision, a radical soul level decision to say, I'm not carrying this another step. Because here's the truth. Your future cannot begin until you lay your past down. And I get it. It's scary. We think if we let go, we'll lose something important. But what you're really losing is the illusion that you need it to survive. Some of you are holding on to people who already let go of you. You're replaying conversations, trying to make sense of pain that never deserved a place in your spirit to begin with. Others are chained to fear. Fear of failing again. Fear of being judged. Fear of stepping into something you've never done before. And that fear is dressed up like protection, but it's actually your prison. Listen to me. You don't heal by clinging. You heal by releasing. You heal by standing up and saying, I don't need to keep bleeding for what broke me. You don't need another apology. You don't need everything to make sense. You just need to decide that you are no longer available for anything that costs you your peace, your passion, or your purpose. You've got to start treating your energy like it's sacred, because it is. You've got to guard your space like your life depends on it, because it does. And that means not everyone gets to come with you. That means you're going to have to outgrow some people you love. You're going to have to walk away from the old version of you that kept shrinking to make others comfortable. And yes, it's going to feel uncomfortable at first, but that discomfort, that's growth in motion. You want the next level? You've got to make space for it. You can't level up when your hands are full of what should have been let go of 2 years ago. You've got to clear the runway. You've got to trust that what's ahead of you is greater than what's behind you, but you'll never feel it if you keep dragging the past like it's your identity. It's not. Your identity is who you decide to become when you stop letting your past make the decisions. And when you finally let go of what's been weighing you down, and that's when you rise. Everyone talks about self-love like it's this soft, gentle thing, like it's candles, bubble baths, and affirmations. And don't get me wrong, those things have their place. But real self-love, the kind that changes your life, that's not soft. That's not sweet. That's discipline. Discipline is the highest form of self-love there is. It's you saying to yourself, I refuse to keep betraying my own potential. Think about it. Every time you hit snooze when you promised yourself you'd get up. Every time you say, I'll start Monday when Monday becomes next month. Every time you talk big dreams but take small, inconsistent actions, you're teaching yourself that your words mean nothing. And if you don't believe you, why would anyone else? If you don't trust you, what kind of foundation is that to build your life on? We all love the rush of motivation. It feels good. It's a spark. It gets you fired up. But let me tell you something. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes with your mood, your energy, your environment. Discipline, that's what shows up when motivation has left the room. That's what keeps you aligned when no one's watching, when it's boring, when it's hard. Discipline is you showing up for the vision you said you believed in on the days you don't feel like it. You want confidence? You want to walk into rooms with certainty? It doesn't come from shouting affirmations into a mirror. It comes from keeping your word to yourself. It comes from stacking those tiny wins day after day and proving to yourself that you can trust your own follow-through. Confidence isn't magic. It's a side effect of consistency. And I know there are days you're tired, days when everything feels heavy and slow. But discipline is how you remind yourself that you're not at the mercy of your emotions. Discipline says, I lead my life. I don't wait for the mood to strike. I strike. That's power. That's personal freedom. Let's be real. You can't keep praying for a breakthrough while refusing to build the habits that bring it to life. You can't keep asking for more while settling for less in your daily actions. Your future is being formed by what you choose to do when no one's clapping, when no one's validating you, when no one even knows what you're grinding for. This is the year you stop negotiating with your excuses. This is the year you stop letting your comfort zone write your schedule, because discipline is not punishment. It's honor. It's how you honor your goals, your growth, and the life you say you want. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need the stars to align. You just need to decide that you're done abandoning yourself every time it gets uncomfortable. Because the moment you stop breaking promises to yourself, that's the moment your life starts to shift. One of the hardest things you'll ever do in this life is choose you consistently, unapologetically, and without guilt. Because let's be honest, we've been trained from a young age to say yes to everyone else. We've been conditioned to make sure everyone around us is comfortable, happy, supported, even if that means betraying ourselves in the process. But here's the truth most people never say out loud. Every time you say yes to someone else at the expense of yourself, you're saying no to your own growth. We've gotten it backwards. We think love means self-sacrifice. We think strength is carrying it all, pleasing everyone, holding it together for people who don't even show up for us. But here's the reality. You can't be your best for anyone if you're constantly abandoning you. You can't pour into anyone from an empty soul. And no matter how hard you try, you'll never be able to please everyone. You'll never be enough for people who are committed to misunderstanding you. And you'll waste your entire life chasing validation from people who don't even know who they are. It's not selfish to say no. It's sacred. Saying no is you protecting your peace. It's you honoring your time, your energy, your mental health. Some people won't like it, and that's okay. You're not here to be liked by everyone. You're here to be real with yourself. You're here to live out your truth. And truth requires boundaries. Because boundaries aren't about keeping people out. They're about keeping you in. They're about making sure you don't lose yourself in someone else's expectations. Now let's get real. Some of the people you're afraid to disappoint are the same people who wouldn't flinch if they disappointed you. You bend, you break, you twist yourself into versions of you that are easier for others to digest, and all the while a part of you is screaming for freedom. This is the year you listen to that voice. This is the year you stop filtering your life to make it easier for other people to accept. You weren't born to be tolerated. You were born to be fully expressed. The moment you start choosing yourself, not just once, but over and over again, you begin to attract a different kind of life. You start attracting people who respect your boundaries. You start feeling aligned, not just busy. You start experiencing peace that doesn't need to be explained. But none of that can happen if you keep shrinking to keep the peace. Sometimes peace isn't quiet. Sometimes peace sounds like a firm no. Sometimes peace looks like walking away with your head held high. If it costs you your peace, your passion, or your purpose, it's too expensive. This year, it's time to say yes to the life that's calling you, even if it means saying no to the one that's expected of you. Because you don't owe them your silence, but you owe you your truth. Let me ask you something real simple. Who's designing your day? Because if you're not intentional about it, your day is already spoken for. Distraction, anxiety, other people's agendas, scrolling, noise, it all comes rushing in the moment your feet hit the floor. And if you don't create structure, if you don't build a system around your purpose, you'll end up working all day and wondering why nothing meaningful got done. Most people don't have a life problem, they have a pattern problem. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your rituals. That's why your morning matters. That's why what you do consistently every single day is shaping the direction of your entire life. Not the once in a while bursts of effort, not the occasional inspiration. I'm talking about the small, repeated decisions, the ones that nobody sees. Those are the ones that define whether you're building momentum or staying stuck. You want clarity? Start by clearing the chaos from your schedule. You want energy? Stop giving your best hours to distractions that don't move your life forward. People say they're tired. They say they're burned out. But what they really are is misaligned. They're spending all day putting out fires and checking boxes, but never doing the things that light them up, stretch them, or grow them. You can be busy and still be going nowhere. When you don't take control of your time, you train your brain to expect urgency over importance. You wake up reactive instead of proactive. You become a slave to notifications, to crisis mode, to whatever shows up instead of what matters. And then you wonder why your goals feel so far away. You wonder why your mind feels scattered, why you're stuck on repeat. It's time to take your power back, not with massive overhaul, but with consistent, conscious structure. You don't need to rebuild your entire life overnight, but you do need to anchor it in routine. You need to create windows of focused, non-negotiable time where your dreams are the priority. No phone, no distractions, just you, your intention, and aligned action. You don't stumble into a meaningful life. You build it. And you build it hour by hour, habit by habit. The same way compound interest grows your money, your rituals compound your results. It might not feel dramatic in the moment, but when you zoom out, the difference between distraction and discipline is everything. This isn't about perfection, it's about pattern. Design your day around the life you want, not the life you're trying to escape. Because if you don't program your mind, the world will program it for you. And the world's default setting, it's survival. But you weren't built just to survive. You were built to lead your life with intention. And that begins with how you show up every single day. There comes a point in your life where you stop waiting. You stop waiting for the perfect moment, for more confidence, for someone to believe in you, for the timing to finally feel right. That's the moment when everything shifts, because you realize the only thing standing between you and the life you want is a decision. Not more thinking, not more planning, just a line in the sand, no turning back decision. You want change in 2025? It starts with you deciding fully, not halfway, not let's see how it goes. I mean a deep internal declaration that says, I'm done playing small. I'm done shrinking. I'm done waiting for permission to live the life I know I was built for. And I know that sounds big. It is big. But big doesn't mean complicated. It means bold. Everything you want, clarity, freedom, purpose, peace, it's on the other side of that decision. But deciding isn't enough. You've got to declare it. Speak it out loud, claim it, own it like it's already real. When you declare something with your full chest, you activate a different level of belief. You're no longer just thinking about it, you're aligning your words, your energy, and your presence around it. Some people are waiting for evidence before they commit. They want the results before they show up. But that's not how it works. You've got to declare it before it's visible. You've got to act like it's done even when nothing in your environment has changed yet. Why? Because your actions are the vote you cast for your future. Every time you show up for the version of you that doesn't exist yet, you bring them closer. But there's one more step. And this is where most people get stuck. You can decide, you can declare, but can you deliver? Can you show up day after day after day when it's not exciting anymore? When the motivation fades, when it gets uncomfortable and messy and lonely? Because that's what separates people who talk about change from the ones who live it. You've got to be willing to do the work even when no one is watching. You've got to take action with intensity and consistency, because your dream doesn't care how you feel today. It cares how committed you are. And commitment means you keep moving even when it's not convenient, even when you're tired, even when doubt shows up at your door, whispering that maybe this isn't for you. It is for you. But only if you decide, only if you declare, only if you deliver. That's how you take back your life. That's how you stop replaying the same version of the same year and finally step into something real. You don't need to wait for a sign. This is the sign, right here, right now. Because the life you owe yourself won't just happen. You have to rise up and claim it.